Hello, this is Jason with MathTutorDVD.com, and today we're going to continue learning about graphing in the TI-89 calculator. And specifically, we're going to talk about graphing styles, changing your graph styles. It's especially helpful when you have 2 or 3 or 4 graphs on a screen. They're all curvy and looking kind of like an intertangled mess. If you can give each graph a little bit of a different style to it. So we're going to do that here. So let's go into the y equals menu. And let's start off by just putting 2 simple functions in here. We'll do x to the third, okay? And the next function, let's do x plus 4. So we'll put 2 functions in there. We'll go ahead and graph them to convince ourselves that the graphing is working correctly. So that's what we have there. That's the first function. Second function is going to be up a little bit higher. Because we had the x plus 3 there. Now let's go back into the y equals menu. First thing I want to show you before I show you about the graph styles is notice the check marks here. That means that, and when you type in a new function, a check mark will automatically be there. What that means is the graph will be graphed. But if you decide you don't want to delete this guy, maybe you're still using it or still needing it, but you don't want to continue to graph it every time. Maybe it's taking a long time to graph it, but you want to keep it here for future use. Just go up here to F4. You see the check mark up here? When you hit F4, the check mark disappears. If you hit F4 again, check mark comes back. So let's turn it off, and you can probably guess what's going to happen. Is the first graph, the x to the third graph, is going to be plotted, but the other graph will not. So it's a nice, handy way of disabling and kind of controlling your graph, especially if you press for time, without actually deleting functions. Maybe you have a really long function here. You don't want to get rid of it, but you don't want to graph it. That's really useful. All right. The other thing I'll say is, what if you have, x minus 9 here, and you want to, for whatever reason, do something to affect all of these guys? Go up to the All menu, F5, which is right here, All. You can turn all functions off and turn them all back on again. So if you wanted to do something to grossly affect all of them, instead of individually unchecking 10 different functions, just hit all off. All of the check marks will disappear. And if we go to the graph, then nothing will be graphed at all. So if we go back to the All menu, number 5, and turn them all back on again, then the check marks will reappear. So that's basically a really quick way to be able to handle that. Now the next thing I want to do is give you another example of these graphing styles and how they can be useful. So let's put another guy in here, 4 graphs. Let's say this is x squared. Actually, let's make it, just to make it different, let's make it negative x squared minus